Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Value Talks. And today we'll talk about HR as a function role. Why HR? Because we have recently conducted HR conclave also, and a lot of things were discussed in that. Unfortunately, I was not part of that because I was traveling. But why we are focusing on HR is because one, that it is an evergreen domain and it is assuming a lot of importance now, considering that, earlier not many organizations used to focus that much on HR, but now HR is a very, very important domain. It's one of the most important functional roles for any industry or business. And we got a lot of queries after the enclave also, and overwhelming response. And that's why we thought that we were thinking of canceling this one and change the topic, but then decided to go ahead with it. So, what was our journey in armed forces? So when I say armed forces, take it the entire defense as a whole. So we appeared for some exam, NDA, IMA or whatever, Naval Academy. So somebody had designed the QR, laid down the QR for selection of personnel as officers in armed forces. Somebody designed the examination question paper. Somebody designed the selection process. Then once a person enters the armed forces, he's onboarded, then he undergoes training, then he's employed in certain function, then he progresses in his career. He has to be disciplined. Then if some discipline is violated, you are taken to task according to whatever violation a person does. And then finally, then you are posted here and there, etc., etc. Your career progresses, you undertake promotions, your salary increases, your salary is decided. So somebody is doing all this process. And then finally, you hang your uniform and move out. Okay, so this entire process is about you, and this is what is HR actually. This is what is the in a very brief layman's this thing. This is what an HR function, HR role is. Now, the point is that in armed forces, HR is little different, and we may not be exposed to all the facets of HR. Somebody may have been in training center or regimental centers involved with training. Somebody may be involved with some other discipline aspect. But as a whole, we are not exposed to all the facets of HR, and moreover, it is perceived very differently by armed forces officer, many of the armed forces officer, and we think that HR is one domain which is very easily we can crack, but it is not so. And interestingly, the perception of the industry also is that though we are good in man management, but we are not taken directly into the HR role just because we are from the armed forces background, and rightly so, because you got to learn and unlearn few things. Today we will talk about what are those things. First, we will understand what is an HR function, what all it does. The takeaway is that in case we want to be in the HR domain, then what should be? So why armed forces officers have, and we discussed this, I think, in the HR enclave also, that we have certain transferable skills which make us kind of suitable for HR, though it is just half the truth, because we are process oriented, we have SOPs, we can withstand pressure, resilience, result oriented, discipline, excellent communication skills. We know the importance of training, etc., etc., crisis management, conflict resolution. So there's many transferable skills which make an armed forces officer suitable for HR. Now, this is not the entire truth, but yes, these skills are very, very important for entry into HR, and we can actually leverage these skills to do well in this particular domain. But however, there is an untold story of HR also, which generally nobody tells. And HR is definitely not for the faint-hearted. And why I say so, why HR is not for the faint-hearted is because they grapple with different kind of situations. Family situations, you will say that we have also, in our when we were commanding companies, we were also looking after the family. We were also keeping track of what is happening in the family of our company personnel. But it is little more than that. You may be dealing with family situations, different medical situations. They must have skills to manage conflicting situations, politics at workplace, employees at their worst behaviors, negativity towards their role from, and everybody is actually targeting the HR. The management is also targeting the HR, the employee is also targeting the HR. So HR professionals are expected to be neutral yet compassionate, and they have to remain understanding while they are accused of being unfair. They may be yelled at, told that you don't know or you don't care about us. And I have seen this happening. So this is the untold story of HR. In HR, you don't have any. So why I'm telling you this is that though you may be thinking the HR, it is not a soft function anymore. There is no honeymoon period. Within the first week of the job only, you may be dealing with discussing, full and final payment, or you may be discussing life insurance of sick employee, domestic violence. You learn the dirty secrets of the business, of the company. A bullying manager or a director who refuses to work with certain colleague, or sexual advances of one colleague toward another, or worker, an employee having pornographic material on the work station. So many things. Somebody may be using company vehicle for business or personal business purposes. So there are multiple situations, and you're dealing it on day-to-day basis, everyday basis. Their role is confusing and misunderstood, and I mean they're facing conflicting situations. I have seen they may be collaborating with the employee on certain thing, and in after some time they're firing that employee. Same employee who had been helping them, they're firing them on some other ground. And it becomes quite difficult at times. Management accuses HR of favoring the employees, and employee accuse HR of having bias towards the management. So it's always this story. So it is not a soft function, and it's quite demanding. So before you think of joining HR as your next career line, you must know this, that it is not a soft function anymore. So I have already explained the kind of an HR life cycle you are actually dealing with, right from onboarding to training to career progression to salary to compensation, rewards, discipline, and finally saying goodbye to the this thing. And you are also doing manpower planning, getting the right talent to the organization. So you have basically, so there are two facets of HR for the organization and HR for the employee, and they are a little different. HR for the organization is that you understand organization's needs and ensure that they are met when we are recruiting. So HR manager analyzes the market, consults the stakeholders, manages the budget. So whenever you are applying for a job on LinkedIn, or when you get call from the consultant, so sometimes they tell you that budget for the this position is this much, 30 lakhs per annum. So the HR manager is having the overall budget of hire. They advertise the requirement, research, they put it in such a manner that the right talent is attracted towards the company. And it's a massive and costly undertaking. So HR is actually handling a lot of budget, and still they are always short of budget, and they are always taking up. I have seen them taking approval. Right talent is not ready to join because of salary issues, so they increase the salary, agree to the employee somehow. So they are dealing with financial budgets as well. And then, one of the major this thing is hiring the right employees. And why we are talking about it? We're talking about it so that once you choose, some of us may be pursuing MBA in HR, which is a good thing, but some of us may not be doing MBA in HR, and we may be pursuing just, some of us may be in DGR, resettlement course. And then once you understand what all things are there in HR, then maybe you can, your cake, whatever, howsoever your cake is baked, you can put the icing by doing some certifications, doing some courses, small courses, etc. Once, and what are those courses? You will understand only if you know these functions. What all functions are there? So you are hiring the right employees is one of the main functions of HR. You arrange, give the ad, you sift through the CVs, you arrange the interviews, coordinate with the freelance consultants, then you onboard new employees. So they are involved in pre-boarding, orientation, then they carry out training of the employee, and then in fifth, sixth, seventh month, they take the feedback from the employee, how's it going, etc. Anything you have. So all those things. So you make sure that from first day to each subsequent day of receiving the candidate, it is navigated successfully. So then another place where we don't have any experience is processing the payroll. So every payday, the pay every working day has to be calculated, expenses need to be reimbursed, and it is not that CDA is handling here. It is the HR who's handling here, and it's a quite a comprehensive process. Of course, a lot of agencies do outsource these processes, but it is a very complex and objective process needing immense attention, and your maths, IT, all kind of skills are involved in this. Then disciplinary action, I will not dwell much on that. The disciplinary cases in corporate are quite different. It may be, misuse of official this thing. It may be, as I said, having material on your own computers which you should not be having, some misbehavior with colleagues, and then moral turpitude, of course, is there, financial irregularities, whatever, and it can be anything. And it's not like armed forces, so you have to have that tact of taking disciplinary action, appropriate disciplinary action. The best human resource guy or the department knows when an employee is not fit for the organization, and that itself, and that comes with experience, of course. Where our expertise comes is that since we have standard operating procedures in armed forces, a lot of these practices actually have been taken from the armed forces only by the corporate. Lots of it. Only thing is they have modified it according to their own business needs. So policy making, drafting the policy, implementing it, then refining it, modifying it, updating it, all these things are also part of the HR function. You have to keep employee records. Now, since you are dealing with salary, you're dealing with a lot of data, employee data, you have to keep employee record, you have to keep track of so many things, so much of data, leave, what is his family details, how much of, if he has taken some kind of loan from the company, anything, what is his career progression, what is his qualifications, any courses, where all he can be employed, his employability, his or her employability, etc. So many data you're dealing with. And then what is the budget of the company for hiring? What may be the hiring forecast for future? So since you're dealing with all this, there's something which becomes very important is that you have the ability to handle data. And that comes to the point of learning Excel. And in my previous this thing also, I have repeatedly said that before you step out of the army, you must know basic Excel, pivot points, etc., whatever is there. So, and basic analysis of data, you should learn. And there are plenty of free courses available on YouTube and all other places. So, learn Excel. It is a important, irrespective of the domain you are going to. If you're going in sales, Excel is important. If you're going in HR, this is important. Business development, it is important. All, it will definitely help you in your new career. Then there's, you have to, and why Excel is also important is ESOPs, of course. ESOPs is also, okay, ESOPs is, it's basically part of your salary negotiations. I mean, what are they providing any kind of equity benefits to the employees or any other things, any such thing? So all these things are to bring good talent to the company. So some companies offer all these, some companies don't offer all this. So you have to have a cost benefit analysis. You have to have that cost benefit analysis capability. So what HR does is that so many times what happens is that you have to stay competitive. Now, Abhay Mane maybe is say approached by Amazon also, and it is approached by Google also, and both want him, and but one is offering way less than what the other is offering. So naturally, he will go to the company unless there is something wrong with that. The company which is giving him a better offer and a good role. So you have to be, so as an HR manager, they have to be aware of what is the competition offering for the similar roles. So so that the talent doesn't go to other company. So you have to keep yourself aware of your competition, their hiring trends, what is the hiring trend in the industry, all these things. You have to keep yourself abreast of the latest what is happening in and around you in your industry as far as the hiring is concerned. So that was HR for the organization. Now, how does HR support employees? So HR basically exists to help employees thrive. Employees are the manpower, or the employees are the biggest asset which any organization has. Protecting their well-being is the most important function. It is of utmost importance, and it is the function of the HR to make sure that their interests are looked after. So HR helps the employees in three, 4 ways. One is you provide the career growth. So if you Google, you will find so many kind of certification, compensation, pay and compensation. Then you will have labor laws, so many things you will find. There are certifications on small things of which are part of HR. So they also on offering continuing education. HR also offers you, opportunities for education and training and supporting managers, supporting the health and wellness, many ways. So what happens is that stagnation is very, very bad for business. HR keeps best employees with the company. That is the aim. So you have to provide career path. So you have to decide. If you're joined as at the bottom of the pyramid, the aim is that they should provide you opportunity to go and rise to the towards the top. So career progression is one thing. Another is that career growth may require additional education and training. And again, that is the part of HR. Then HR makes sure that department and teams which are there, they stay at their best. May include periodically sending the managers to formal trainings and retreats. And some of these trainings, it may be behavioral training, it may be professional training, and it may be for team building. So you must have seen many times, a lot of these resorts, they are booked by the companies and their teams come there, they undergo obstacle training, etc., etc. Some games they organize these kind of events. That is basically for team building. Now coming to education and certifications, as was covered in the enclave, the best is that you do MBA HR from a reputed institute. However, in that, two, three things which are very important are, one is your age, what age you are at. So if you are in 35 or maybe below 40, then you can look at going for MBA in HR from a premier institute. Things to what assumes importance is the fee structure. What is the fee of that, and does it fall within your budget? But to trade off the budget requirement, don't trade off on the quality of don't sacrifice the quality of the program. So don't, if you are planning to do something from ISB, just because the ISB cost is too much, don't do it from Pondicherry University or Annamalai University or whatever. I mean, don't do a thing which may not carry that kind of value. So a lot of, in last 1 week, I've got a lot of calls from officers. They have done correspondence courses because they could not join the regular courses because they did it. So it's good to gain knowledge. It's good to gain qualification, but don't bank on qualification gained through correspondence courses. You may not get the job because of that qualification, and you may not get that role because of that qualification. So if at all you have to do MBA, must do it from a good institute. Now, of course, the cost benefit analysis you have to do vis-a-vis the age you are in. bracket you are in. Then is your certifications. Now, certifications, if you're doing, my this thing is that if you're not going in for MBA, HR from a premier institute full time, and instead, if you are doing DGR courses and DGR course and you are targeting HR, now this is again a very important point. You have to be very clear whether you want to go to HR, go in HR field, or you don't want to. So that has to be very clear. Don't do it कि ये भी कर लेंगे और वो भी कर लेंगे, मत करो. Don't. It shows a very confused mentality. So if you are planning to, if you are not going in for a MBA in HR full time from a premier institute and you have joined DGR pre-student course, good. Then you should. Then your cake is whatever it is. Now put some good icing on it and go in for some short courses like XLRI. I think IIT Roorkee also offers the course, and some of the IIMs offer short courses, and you can do some of those courses. Then you can also go in for Chartered Institute of Personal Development certifications, which is the main professional body award professional human resource certifications. Then another is your Society for Human Resource Management. Now, SHRM, so Society for Human Resource Management, which is there, it offers two kind of courses. One is, I think, certified professional. One is senior certified professional. And then there is a SHRM body of applied skills and knowledge, which is the framework which you will have to go through to prepare for these certifications. Whether you're going for certified professional or senior certified professional, you will have to read that. I will put that copy of that in the Telegram group. So you can go through it or you can download it from the SHRM this thing also, site also. Certifications of SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management. These two certifications, the certified professional and senior certified professional, which are there, they provide reliable indicators to the business organization, business community that the credential holder is a expert and leader in the HR. So if you don't have MBA in HR, then you can look at going for SHRM certification also. Another thing which you must is the Learn Excel and some kind of visualization. And these courses are very, very cheap. Sometimes on Udemy, these courses are available at 150, 200 rupees also. And sometimes case you can learn Excel, etc. without paying a dime. So, but you must learn it. Once you can also look at, VVGRI National Labor Institute, they also offer labor law related courses. Sometimes you may be, if you're lucky, they may be conducting courses which may be relevant to your this thing. But do these courses only if you're targeting HR. So otherwise, don't just waste your time. So I think more or less I have covered everything.